A night of scientific triumph after more than 50 years. I don't know if you heard, we're back on the moon. The spacecraft Odysseus, or Odie as its friends call it, is the first vehicle launched from the United States to land on the moon since 1972, which is a big deal. This is basically the space equivalent of bell-bottoms coming back. And Odysseus is also the first commercial spacecraft to land on the moon. Its mission was to deliver camera and radio equipment for NASA. NASA posted this today: your order was delivered to the moon. So, at long last, humanity has finally begun Amazon garbaging the surface of the moon. Congratulations, everybody. Meanwhile, history's being made right here on the Earth, too. KFC has unveiled their latest culinary monstrosity. It is a pizza made out of fried chicken called the Chizza. I know there were meetings, but there's no way the person who came up with this was not high, right? I mean, it's the Sharknado of food, the Chizza. At a certain point, KFC should just start packing a gun in its buckets if they're trying to kill their customers. The Chizza is not on the Vatican's approved list of Friday foods during Lent. You know that, right, Guillermo?
Yeah.
Many Catholics, eat fish on Fridays during Lent. Or did I wake you? I'm sorry.
No, I'm okay, yeah, no. I was confused with the pizza.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. But over the years, the church has started to loosen up on what specifically that means. When I was growing up, we would have fish or nothing, really, on Fridays. In parts of South America now, the Friday Lent menu has been updated to include beavers, muskrats, and capybara. Apparently, the restriction isn't about cows or chickens versus fish. It's about land animals versus water animals. And these animals that I mentioned mostly live in the water. The capybara is a rodent. Not only is it a rodent, it's a rodent with a theme song.
Capybara, 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 capybara.
Yeah, and now you can sing along while you eat them on Fridays, and Jesus gives it a big thumbs up. They're even serving these newly cleared creatures at a popular fast food seafood place.
Where can you find Lent-friendly meals for the whole family? Right here at Long John Silver's. We've got dozens of delicious options that Pope Francis would flip for. Dig into a hot and juicy beer-battered capybara, chewy deep-fried muskrat tail, wet and furry whole-boiled beaver, and fresh from the Everglades, wild and stringy gator tots. Or why not have it all? A Muska Beaver Bara Gator Feast. A muskrat stuffed into a beaver, crammed into a capybara, all wrapped up inside a Florida favorite. Ooh-wee. Enjoying your meal?
As you can see, I hated my muskrat.
Lent just got lit at Long John Silver's.
And don't forget, a steaming bowl of beaver penis. Now that's good eating.
Make every Friday a good Friday.
Yo!
All right, so to bring everyone up to date, gays can get married, masturbation's still a sin, life begins at conception, and it's okay to eat an otter on a Friday night, all right? In Florida, where the capybara run wild, the state Senate just passed a bill that will ban all social media for children under 16. It will soon be illegal for Florida kids to go on TikTok, Snapchat, or Instagram. Still legal in Florida, everything else. The bill was sponsored by State Senator Erin Grahl, who is obviously someone who got bullied by teenagers online. She introduced this. How they plan to enforce it, I do not know. These kids are going to go nuts. Imagine not being allowed on TikTok until you're 16. Does this mean at 15 you can get a twerker's permit? How does it work? But maybe it's a good idea. We should probably all be banned from social media, especially Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is, this is a beauty. Yesterday, she wrote, this is long, bear with me, this might be an unpopular opinion and could hurt some feelings. There are many conservative Christian women who are influencers or leaders that are selling themselves short and not being good role models by conforming to the world's sexualization of women. If you are a conservative and a Christian, you know you don't have to express yourself in sexual ways, and you know you are attractive by dressing nice and feminine, and you can be beautiful and modest at the same time. Men will respect you more and think of you much more highly than just a sexual object for gratification. It's also good to not tempt your Christian brothers and cause them to stumble. As conservative Christian women, let us always be an example to girls and young women by displaying actions that our faith believes and do not conform to the patterns of this fallen world. Be the light, don't fall. into the darkness. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she's just jealous none of the men in town want to take her to see Beetlejuice. I don't know. But I love that the woman who looks like a high school linebacker in a dress is telling other women to be feminine. And this is good, too. An hour before Clan Mom posted that, she called for the judge that fined Donald Trump in New York to be disrobed. Judge Engoron should be disrobed and thrown out. Yeah. Get him naked and throw him out. It's, you know, Marge, I think is still working pretty hard trying to be Trump's running mate, even though he doesn't seem to be interested in that. She even followed him to South Carolina today.
You can hear the excitement here in the crowd. They're cheering and they're excited to see President come.
Yes, they want to see President. She's excited to see President come. She learned to speak English from Cookie Monster. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's been getting around. He popped into the National Religious Broadcasters International Christian Media Convention, and I like when he shows up to religious events because he does such a good job of convincing the crowd he's one of them.
As you know, the left is trying to shame Christians. They try and shame us. I'm a very proud Christian, actually.
Sure you are. I mean, you can't get that guy out of church. People don't know. The J in Donald J. Trump stands for Jesus. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking on that $454 million Trump owes the state of New York now. Yesterday, the judge rejected Trump's request to delay the appeals process. He wrote, "You have failed to explain, much less justify, any basis for his stay," which is exactly what Trump says every time Don Jr. wants to visit Mar-a-Lago. But to hear Trump tell it, our economy is a mess, and a lot of people believe that, even though it isn't true. The stock markets had their best day in over a year yesterday. Today, the Dow hit a new all-time record, which makes life very difficult for Fox News. They know Trump is always watching like Santa Claus, so they have to vacillate between telling us how devastating Bidenomics is for the economy and simultaneously reporting what is actually going on.
How far down will the Biden regime allow our economy to fall before it breaks the bank on every single American?
In the meantime, we were watching something that you might have noticed in the corner of your screen here. The Dow has never been higher than this. That is a new record.
Biden shouldn't be running a victory lap or even running for re-election because he's put a bullet in the head of the American dream.
Meanwhile, the U.S. labor market starting this year red hot. Employers adding a surprisingly strong 353,000 jobs last month.
The economy is in an inflationary nightmare.
3.3% GDP growth in the fourth quarter, an incredible gangbusters employment number this past Friday. Inflation has been slashed.
Everything was better under Trump by every measurement, every barometer. The Dow closing at another record high. It's 7th record of the year.
He's bringing back Bidenomics. Now, of course, he didn't have much to say because there's very little good news on the economy to share.
Well, there is good news in the economy, Brett. I mean, inflation has indeed moderated. Growth has been strong. The stock market is hitting records.
It's as if the Biden administration burps out these statistics. Oh, everything's great.
The economy is not just good, it's great.
I think Fox might be bipolar, you know? The whole country might be bipolar. We don't agree on anything anymore. Even facts now are a matter of opinion. Everything is colored red or blue. So we decided to conduct a little social experiment. We sent a camera crew to South Carolina ahead of the primary there tomorrow. We asked people who identified themselves as supporters of Donald Trump for their take on some of Joe Biden's more controversial actions and quotes. But what we didn't tell them at first is that what we said wasn't from Joe Biden. It was actually from Donald Trump.
Do you mind if I ask you who you voted for in the last election?
Trump.
Trump? I'm going to guess you voted for Trump.
It says Donald Trump.
Do you mind if I just ask you a few questions about things that Biden has done in his administration, and you can kind of give me your opinion on that? What did you think when Joe Biden suggested that COVID could be cured by shining a bright light inside the body?
It is very sad that Joe Biden is clearly a dementia patient.
Supposedly hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light.
What do you think about Joe Biden saying that getting through the 80s without getting HIV was his own personal Vietnam?
Again, it's very sad, his mental capacity, and that is a very uneducated statement.
Oh, okay, I'm so sorry. These are not, I got my notes mixed up. Can I ask you this question? Can we start over and me ask you? Okay. What did you think when Donald Trump suggested that COVID could be cured by shining a bright light into the body?
It depends what that technology is.
Okay.
That's a broad spectrum because, you know, you have MRI machines and CT machines and infrared and different things. So it just depends the context of that.
What did you think of Donald Trump saying that getting through the 80s without getting HIV was his own personal Vietnam? Dementia patient?
No, I don't believe that.
There are accusations that Joe Biden cheated on his wife with a porn star after his son was born. And there's actually a paper trail showing he paid the sex worker $130,000 to keep quiet about it.
Well, who did that? Joe
Biden.
And he was making, I think, less than $100,000 a year at that time as a congressman, a senator. And how does he do that?
You tell me. Would you
You're
vote
a
for
reporter.
someone that...
Of course not.
Okay. So Trump did do that.
Trump had a fling with Stormy Daniels.
And paid her $130,000.
Hush money, yes.
And you're voting for him.
I am. My father had affairs too, and I still respect him.
How do you feel about Joe Biden using his bone spurs to dodge the Vietnam draft?
Joe Biden has a problem. He isn't an American. He isn't a patriot.
I'm sorry. I asked you, I said Biden and I meant Trump. So those were things that...
Oh, Trump?
Trump, yes. Can I ask you the question again with
Yes,
the right
you may.
name? I'm so sorry. How do you feel about Donald Trump using his bone spurs to dodge the Vietnam draft?
My brother-in-law had flat feet. So I'm sure you cannot go into a military zone, a Vietnam zone, or any of the other zones with bad feet.
Sure.
You just can't do the job.
I agree.
And it actually impacts the other soldiers, puts them in danger.
Yeah.
So no.
Thank you, everyone. The first ever flat-footed flip-flop. Jesus for everybody.